All right. So, have you heard about this NotebookLM thing that's got everybody talking? AI that can make entire podcasts now. Wild, right?
It is pretty wild.
But honestly, that's just the tip of the iceberg, right?
Totally.
We've been going through articles, DataCamp, Ramon, all this stuff, and there is so much more to this than meets the eye.
Yeah, it's easy to get caught up in the hype with this one.
Right.
But with NotebookLM, you really need to understand what it is to appreciate it.
Okay.
It's not just another note-taking app. Think of it more like, having your own AI research assistant.
Okay, now I'm really intrigued.
Right.
So how is that different from, let's say, something like ChatGPT? We've all played around with ChatGPT.
Right. So the big difference is focus.
Okay.
ChatGPT trained on a massive amount of general knowledge. NotebookLM, though,
Oh.
it becomes an expert on your stuff, your documents.
Oh, wow.
You upload your meeting notes, research papers, all those articles you've been meaning to read but never got around to.
Yeah.
And it learns.
Yeah.
It tailors its knowledge specifically to that.
So instead of these generic answers you're getting from like a general AI,
Exactly.
it's like having an expert who's prepped only on the stuff you give it. That's huge.
Exactly.
Imagine, right? Like you're prepping for this big presentation and you need that one stat.
Yeah,
Instead of going through all your slides, you just ask NotebookLM.
exactly. And because it's pulling straight from your sources, you can trust that the information's accurate.
Oh, that's a good point.
Yeah. DataCamp really emphasized that rooted in your sources aspect, and it's a big deal,
Okay.
especially in terms of like trustworthiness.
Yeah, you don't want it just making stuff up.
Exactly. Imagine you're presenting your findings. You
Right.
can actually cite specific stuff from your documents and be confident.
Because you know it's in there.
Exactly.
That's incredible.
That's the power of this thing.
Wow.
Yeah.
And I feel like that probably really resonates with our listeners, our learner audience, because they're all about going deep on a topic, really understanding it, but they also really value accuracy and efficiency, right?
Of course.
This isn't just about, reading more. It's about actually understanding and owning the information.
And that ownership aspect ties directly into one of the features that's got everyone talking.
Right.
AI-generated podcasts.
Yes.
Now, it's easy to get caught up in how cool that is, obviously.
That's very cool.
But let's take a closer look at what it can really do.
Right.
The good and the bad, right?
Yes, for sure.
The potential and the pitfalls.
Okay, well, speaking of, we actually have a clip from that YouTube video that everyone's talking about.
Right.
This one focuses on how AI can take information
Okay.
and analyze it and restructure it. And trust me, it's mind-blowing.
All right, let's hear it.
Let's give it a listen.
Yeah.
So we've got this tool that can pull out the important stuff from our documents and even turn it into a podcast. But DataCamp was really excited about its other capabilities too.
Oh, yeah.
They were saying its summarization skills are unbelievable.
It's true. It's not just summarizing, though.
Yeah.
It's like it actually understands the information.
Okay.
So imagine you've got a massive report full of industry jargon, super dense.
Right.
NotebookLM can cut through all that
wow.
and give you just the key takeaways, in plain English.
That's amazing,
Right.
especially for anyone who's had to read those kinds of reports.
Exactly.
It's a lifesaver.
Yeah, it's like having, a personal briefer on call 24/7.
Always there to help.
Exactly.
And because it's learned from your documents,
Yes.
the insights it gives you are actually relevant to you. It's
Right.
not just general stuff.
It's tailored to what you're working on.
Exactly. And hold on, it gets even better.
Okay, what else?
DataCamp said it can also answer your questions about the material,
Yeah.
format,
right.
your notes,
Rob.
create study guides, even generate different creative text formats from the information.
Yeah, they gave that funny example
Oh, yeah.
where they asked it to turn some technical notes into a haiku.
That's right. I remember that.
Yeah.
Which is kind of hilarious.
Right. Just shows that it's not all super serious,
Right.
It can be surprisingly playful.
Playful, but also practical.
Exactly.
I mean, think about it. You're prepping for that big presentation again.
Yeah.
NotebookLM summarizes your research, answers your questions,
Yeah.
turns your notes into talking points.
Like a whole team.
It's like having a whole team
right there in one app.
supporting you.
Right. And that's what makes it so powerful.
Exactly.
It's not just passive consumption anymore.
Right.
NotebookLM lets you actually interact with information in a way that works for you.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
It's like going from, a regular old textbook to a fully interactive, personalized learning platform.
Exactly.
It's amazing.
And that brings us back to this idea of responsibility, right?
Oh, right.
And potential misuse, which I know we touched on a bit earlier.
Yeah, definitely.
Because, with great power
Comes great responsibility.
Exactly.
That's the saying.
That's the one.
Especially with something as powerful as AI, right?
Sure.
So we have to, unpack that side of things a bit more.
Yeah, let's do it.
What are some of the things we need to be careful of? So how do we walk that tightrope? What are the things we need to be careful of when using something like NotebookLM?
I think it really comes down to awareness.
Okay.
Being aware of our own biases, right? And the biases that might already exist in the information we're feeding it.
That makes sense.
Because even the smartest AI can still reflect those biases.
Right, like garbage in, garbage out, as they say.
Exactly. It's like if you only give it articles with a certain slant,
Yeah.
it's going to pick up on that, even if it doesn't explicitly say, I believe this.
Right. It'll still be in the way it presents the information.
Exactly. And that's where that whole rooted in your sources thing
Right, which we talked about earlier.
becomes even more important.
Okay.
Because as much as it's great for accuracy, it also means we got to be super careful about what we're feeding it in the first place.
So it's not just about letting the AI do all the work, right?
Right.
We have to take responsibility for what it's learning from.
Exactly. We can't just sit back and be passive.
Right.
We got to be active in the process,
So critically evaluating what the AI gives us?
Yes. Critically evaluating, just like we would with any other source.
That's a good point.
Yeah. It's easy to be impressed by the technology.
For sure. It's amazing.
But we can't forget to think for ourselves.
Absolutely.
We need to keep our critical thinking caps on.
That's such a crucial point.
Yeah.
So to kind of wrap things up here, for our listeners who are, excited about NotebookLM,
Right.
but also maybe a little bit, understandably, cautious.
Who cares?
What would be the biggest takeaway for them?
I'd say embrace the potential.
Okay.
Be excited, but, proceed with open eyes.
I like that.
This tool has the potential to completely change how we learn, how we work, how we share knowledge.
It's true.
But like with anything powerful.
We've got to use it responsibly.
Exactly. It's about being smart users.
Not just letting it run wild.
Exactly.
We need to be asking ourselves those tough questions.
Yes. Like, what are we feeding it?
What are the biases?
What could be the impact?
Because ultimately, it's on us, right?
It is.
To make sure this technology is used for good.
I completely agree. It's an ongoing conversation we all got to be a part of.
Well said.
Thanks.
So there you have it. NotebookLM. Amazing potential.
It is pretty amazing.
But it's up to us to be smart and responsible.
Absolutely.
And who knows, maybe one day this whole podcast will be AI generated.
Maybe one day.
But for now,
yeah,
I'm pretty happy with this.
Me too. It's good talking to you.
Likewise. Until next time, everybody, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep diving deep.
Keep on learning.